Alright, this is part 2 of conducting a 6-year maintenance on the low pressure ABC fire extinguisher. Now that we've loosened the head on the cylinder, let the air escape out, we can go ahead and remove it from the vise, put it back up on your scale. We're going to go ahead and detach the head. Once we do that, you don't want to make sure no contaminants get down in the cylinder or any of the agent getting all over the work surface, because they can make a mess. Alright, this is what the inside of a fire extinguisher valve looks like, head looks like. It's got a siphon tube that's connected to the head. That tube, as you see, is almost the size of a McDonald's straw. Not very big. So this tube, the base of this tube, can pack up with the dry chemical over a period of time, which could cause it not to operate properly. Even though it's showing in the green, showing that it's pressurized, that could stop it from operating should you need to use it. Alright, once we pull it off, we're going to go ahead and fill the cylinder with the appropriate Class ABC dry chemical. Alright, just cut my scale on. Alright, I'm going to grab my fill hose. It might get a little loud when my compressor cuts on, my unit cuts on. Alright, go ahead and fill it. We're going to put a total weight about 8 pounds for this size cylinder. And it's 5 pounds of dry chemical. Right now it's showing about 7.5. Reason for that, the dry chemical is very fluffy. When it fills up, it fills it all the way to the top, but it's got to settle for a little bit. Once it settles down into the cylinder, or the powder settles, it's going to open up more area where you can put another 0.5 pounds. We're going to set it to the side, let that go ahead and settle. While we're doing that, letting that settle, we'll go ahead and clean your head assembly. Go ahead and detach the head, siphon tube from the head. I have a little spring and your valve stem. Your valve stem is going to look like that. See all this powder on it? Anytime a fire extinguisher is used, even if it's a quick burst, it's still going to show in the green that day. It'll gradually leak out its dry nitrogen overnight or throughout the period of that day. But anytime the dry chemical, it's got 2 O-rings on this valve stem. Anytime that dry chemical gets on the O-ring, it's not going to seat properly, so it's going to gradually leak out. That's why anytime a unit fire extinguisher is used, it has to be serviced because of that reason. Set that to the side. Also have an O-ring that sets around the head, and that's where it meets the top of the cylinder. keeps it sealed. All right. We can go ahead and do a little bit of burst of air. What I like to do, I got two brushes, one dry brush and I got one with a mild detergent to clean it out. The dry brush will break up any packed up dry chemical that's up in the head before I put any mild detergent in it. Quick burst again. Alright. Right now, as you can hear, I have an air compressor running. You cannot refill a fire extinguisher, a low pressure dry chemical fire extinguisher, with an air compressor. It has moisture in it. The only air that you can, compressed air that you can fill a fire extinguisher with is dry nitrogen. No moisture in nitrogen. You can use the air compressor with a moisture unit to clean the heads and fill the fire extinguisher, because it collects the moisture before it gets into your reclaim assembly to refill your fire extinguisher. But you cannot pressurize it with air compressor. It has to be with dry nitrogen. Alright, now let's go ahead and get my wet brush that has some simple green in it, a little mild detergent. We're going to go ahead and clean the internals of the head. Make sure it's nice and clean. We don't want it to leak out due to faulty maintenance practices. So we want it very clean. And the threads you want clean also. Alright. Now that I used to clean with the simple green, it's wet on the inside, so you got to dry it out. Remember, no moisture. You don't want nothing. It's gonna get loud. Next, you want to go ahead and clean your valve stem and inspect it. 6-year maintenance, they're not required to replace the valve stem unless you have the 2 O-rings are damaged or the valve stem in general is damaged. But you need to inspect it thoroughly every 12 years for the 12-year hydrostatic testing. You do replace your valve stem. Alright, we'll go ahead, because I got dry chemical on it, I'm going to take my rag, clean off the valve stem. I want to get to the O-rings, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of this mild detergent, go ahead and clean the valve stems and the little cracks and crevices of the valve stem. Alright, now once that's clean, go ahead and wipe it down, use a little bit of air on it, anything that might be up in it. Alright, we're going to go ahead and inspect it. Alright, looks real good. Alright, we're going to set that to the side now that that's clean. Alright, now your O-ring. O-rings are the reason for a unit failing. Especially the O-ring that seats in between the cylinder and the head. That can flatten out over a period of time because you got that much force and pressure holding it down. So you always want to replace your O-ring every time you do a service. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and grab a new O-ring. We're going to just wipe it down. Looks good. Set two sides. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and grab the head back. I like to just make sure nice and dry. Alright. You want to I use Parker Old Lube. Might be a little expensive, but it works the best. It's for your lubrication for O-rings. Alright, we're going to put a little bit on my finger. We want to lace the valve stem with some of that Parker Old Lube. You want to moisten up them O-rings with a little bit of grease. That way they will seat properly and won't leak out due to being dry out. Alright, we're going to go ahead and insert it. Insert. I'll show you real quick. We're going to go ahead and take the valve stem. Go ahead and insert it back into where it rests. Okay, see, you got the tip coming through there. Alright, we can go ahead and grab your spring, reinsert that, grab your siphon tube, go ahead and reconnect that, tighten it back down. It's going to be pressure because of that spring, but that's what controls the discharge lever. Alright, go ahead and tighten that back down. See, without that spring, it wouldn't come back, spring back and forth. It'll just drop down and won't be able to reseal the head back. Alright, we'll go ahead and put the O-ring on. Back in place. Alright. Now that's all clean. We can go ahead and set that to the side. It's back all one piece again. Nice and clean. Put it down. We're going to go ahead and put our scale back on. Mine, like, it goes on standby mode. Alright. Now that that's zeroed out, we're going to go ahead and grab the cylinder, put it back. Look at showing 7.5 pounds. So we're going to go ahead and grab the reclaim assembly fill unit. Go ahead and add that other 0.5 to it now. Now that it gave it time to settle. Alright. Now we had 8 pounds, which is what we want to be at. Go ahead and put that back in the resting holster. Alright, now just clean up the top of the cylinder. I like everything to be clean, a little bit OCD. Clean the threads up on the inside of the cylinder. Alright, real good. Alright, what you want to do next is your verification collar. You want to make sure you always put a verification collar on that lets fire marshals know and inspectors know that this unit was properly serviced. Because without this, they don't know if this unit was tore down, because anybody could slap a label on the back. Alright, go ahead and grab your verification collar, hole punch the month that it was serviced, the year, which this is December 2014, so it had been hole punch. Go ahead and rest that right on the cylinder. It drops right in, rests around the top of the cylinder. Alright, next you want to grab some of your Parker O-Lube. Go ahead and lace these threads, the top of the threads, because that's where that O-ring that's on your head assembly is going to rest. So you want it nice and greased up. Put it to seat properly. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and grab our head. Make sure that works all good. Alright. We're going to give it a second because you want that powder to settle a little bit before it'll pressurize nicely. Alright. While we're waiting on that, you want to grab the hose, discharge hose. You want to go ahead and give it a quick burst of air. Make sure no contaminants are up in the hose. A little bit. Go ahead and wipe it down. Alright, nice and clean. Alright. Let's go ahead and insert this. Go ahead and put the head back on the cylinder. Drop it in slowly. You don't want any powder to fluff up and hit where we got the Parker O-Lube on the threads. Alright, now let's go ahead and tighten it down. Alright, now let's go ahead and get a good little tight. Alright, now we got it like that. We can go ahead and place it back on the scale. Alright. I like to go ahead and face it towards. Alright. Now, what you want to do, a little bit to that. Grab your recharge adapter. That's for this model. Go ahead and attach it to your fire extinguisher. Alright. This, you gotta grab your little wrench, because you're gonna be dealing with dry nitrogen there. So, you gotta do a little tight down on it. Alright. Now, remember where I said you cannot fill it, pressurize it with an air compressor. You gotta use dry nitrogen, which is my cylinder right here. Go ahead and connect the hose from the cylinder, dry nitrogen cylinder, to my fire extinguisher. Now we're ready to pressurize. I'm going to go ahead and cut on my dry nitrogen tank. You hear the pressure hit the head on the fire extinguisher. Alright, now that we got it on, we're going to go ahead and fill it with the dry nitrogen. Alright, fill it to it's filled in the green at 195 psi. Alright. Now we're done with that. We're going to go ahead and put the pull pin, insert that back in. We don't want it to accidentally discharge. And go ahead and cut off your dry nitrogen tank. Alright. Now the pin's in. It's in the green. You want to go ahead and put a tamper seal on it. You don't want it to accidentally discharge. Trust me, it will make a mess. Alright. Go ahead. Put that tamper seal on there. Go ahead, now that the air is released, the dry nitrogen is released out, we can disconnect the hose. Alright, now we want to disconnect the recharge adapter. Once that's disconnected, we can put that back in its place where it belongs. Alright, we can go ahead and remove it from the vise, the fire extinguisher, bring it back over. Alright, you want to go ahead and reattach your hose assembly, discharge hose assembly. Alright, now that that's hand tight, you don't need to tighten it down with a wrench. Go ahead and connect it back together. Now, last thing is your fire extinguisher metallic label. What this is, it tells you what you perform, what service, what company performed it. Alright, this one right here shows that this was serviced today, had 6-year maintenance, today's date. The other one is 12-year hydrostatic tested, and these, if it was hydrostatic tested for this unit, the age of this unit, it's pressurized 390 psi. Normal, anywhere from 390 to 585. Some of them are 600. But you always go by the label when you service it. Alright, once that's on there, which is already on there, I've already placed one on there, we're going to go ahead, do a little quick wipe down, like everything be clean. I want my customers to have a clean fire extinguisher. Alright, now we're done there. Last thing is ready to certify. And we will go ahead and grab a certification tag. Go ahead and grab our little hole puncher. We're going to go ahead and hole punch December 2014. And we're going to do serviced ABC dry chemical. Alright. Go ahead. Serviced by my signature. Alright. And go ahead and attach it to the fire extinguisher. Alright, and guess what? We are all done. You have just watched Franklin's Fire Safety do a 6-year maintenance on a low pressure dry chemical ABC fire extinguisher. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for other service videos. Have a great day.